What does vulnerability mean to you? Have you ever asked yourself that question and wondered, what does it mean to be vulnerable? The dictionary says being vulnerable is capable of being easily hurt or harmed physically, mentally, or emotionally. What they forget to add, for me, oh, I spelled it wrong. Oh, too bad. To me, being vulnerable meant being weak, which would allow someone to take advantage of me, incapable to opening up to a gentler side of myself, which was buried deep within me. At the time, innocence meant feeling immature and naive. Being vulnerable scared me, and I thought it would make me feel defenseless. Being in sales, it was very hard for me to be soft and fluffy. I had to be hard because I knew that if I was weak, someone would take advantage of me. So I'm sharing this with you because I'm sure there are all different reasons why we don't want to be vulnerable. And I think it's really important. It's a part of the process. It's a healing process. It's reaching into those lovely parts of you that have hidden themselves because of their vulnerability. But when you do that, you're preventing them from growing and evolving and supporting you. So take the time maybe and really question what did it mean to me, other than, it's more than one or two words, because you're helping yourself to heal. What I realized is it took courage for me to be seen as me, as it will take courage for you to be seen as you. To love myself meant stepping out of my own judgment, and I had a lot of judgment. I used to be fearful that they were judging me, but in actual fact I was judging myself, and I didn't know that then. Being vulnerable opened me up to my emotions that were buried in an iceberg, because I was frozen, absolutely frozen in time. I couldn't feel. There's just, no one could hurt me because I was just an iceberg. No one could penetrate my skin. I needed to connect to the willingness within me to love and to be loved. And I think that was the biggest hurdle, because what is love? I didn't realize that I had to have love within myself. And if I wanted to be loved, how could someone love me if I didn't love me? So the hardest thing for me was loving myself. I could have said so many different things, pretended, as I had done most of my life, pretended to believe that I had it. I had it all figured out. But I didn't have it figured out. So that was the biggest realization for me, is to know that I didn't know. And the only way for me to be able to move into this vulnerability and to embrace it was to look what was stopping me. And I forgot the courage and the strength that it took for me to stand up for me. To be able to cry and be okay. And I mean, I don't know about you, but I was told always to go to my room and only to come out when I'm smiling. So I wasn't allowed to feel. I wasn't allowed to be angry or fearful. I had to grow up. I didn't have a chance to be a child. I had to grow up. So everything just got buried within me. And a lot of the health issues that I'm dealing with now, that I've been dealing with most of my life, was everything that was stored in this body. I remember a long time ago, my body was breaking down. I was a very good squash player, and all of a sudden I couldn't hold a squash racket anymore. And my osteopath said, Christine, you have to, work on some of your emotions that you're holding on to. And I looked at him, I said, who are you talking to? Like, somebody else in the room? He could see this, and I just was head up my wherever, pretending that I was fine. And I you know what happens when you pretend enough, you become what you pretend. And that's what was happening to me. I was really good at pretending to be not me. So it took courage, because I had to see me. I mean, who is me? All these judgments that I had. That wasn't me. So I had to do that. It was really, it's like peeling an onion. Yeah, it's like peeling an onion. So what do you think you could realize? Think about it. These are just really, at least they were deep questions for me, because I came across them in my mind, and I said, okay, what is it what could I realize? I mean, I could go on with the list. Those were the basic ones. So when I began to embrace my vulnerability, I felt myself moving from helpless to feeling invincible, from defenseless to feeling empowered, from weakness to feeling strong and courageous. I mean, the only way you can even embrace your vulnerabilities, you have to become brutally honest with yourself. You have to shake off all that pretending to be. Because that's what I felt, helpless. To even say that word 20 years ago would have been impossible. Defenseless. I mean, to me, I was not helpless, but I pretended. And being defenseless. I mean, I always thought I was powerful, but I wasn't empowered. And weak. No one would ever have seen me as weak. Never. People were afraid of me in real estate. They would call my broker and they would say, she scares the shit out of me. Which was good, because when it came to negotiations, they knew not to play with me. They knew they had to be on the money, or I would eat them up and spit them out. So people were afraid of me, and that was my weakness, because I didn't know any other way other than to torment people, because that was the tormenting that was going on within me. So for me, is I had to break it down and say, so who was I before? And who am I now? What is the differences? And in writing and coming across these differences and where I was, again, that's all healing. You're healing yourself. You're healing the innocence within you, acknowledging the innocence within you. It's so liberating. How did I welcome my vulnerability? Years ago, someone had said to me, you need to love yourself, Christine. And he said, I want you to go home and I want you to stand in front of your mirror and say out loud, I love you. And I was so hard-nosed. I said, well, that's going to be really easy to do. So I walked home and I looked in the mirror and I couldn't say it. I couldn't say it at all. I was so grateful I didn't wear a lot of makeup because I couldn't look in the mirror anymore. So I had to break that programming. Gosh, it was in concrete. And I wrote all these little post-its around my house. I love you. And I stuck them everywhere. Fridge, windows, computer, bathroom, mirrors, everything. And I made a commitment to myself. And I said every time I passed a sign, I would take it off the wall and say, I love you out loud, and I'd stick it back on the wall. Did I feel it? No. It was so deep inside of me, it was frozen in time. But I kept going. And what pushed me even more, because back then I have a doctoral in clinical hypnosis and NLP. So I started to help people because I was so screwed up. I figured I could unscrew other people. But because of the work I was doing, I'm beginning to notice how much calmer I was becoming, but I was nowhere near where I am today. So I'm not kidding myself. But somebody I was working with, she was a beautiful lady who had 2 children, and she was in an abusive relationship. And she was afraid to leave her husband because she had no job, no money. And her kids were 7 years old. She'd been married for 7 years, and the kids were abusive. So I told her about I love you notes. And that's exactly what she did. She plastered them all over the house. And her biggest concern is, well, what would happen if my kids see it? And I said, well, I don't know, have them read it. And she came to see me about, I don't know, a month or 2 months later. And she said, you can't believe how much I love you have changed my life. She left her husband and took her kids. And the kids were chanting, I love you all the time. And they became just lovely children. And she said, I couldn't have done it without that little note, I love you. So that's very powerful. I also had to stop all that negative, lovely self-talk. Oh my gosh, I beat myself up more than people did. You're stupid. Stop being silly. I'm so dumb. I'm a loser. And when I caught myself even beginning that phrase, I stopped and put my hand on my heart and said, I am so sorry, and I love you. So this is all programming. Because you see, whatever I heard, whatever I was saying to me is what people were saying to me, my family. It was just their mantra. You're so stupid. You will not amount to anything. You're dumb. In school, they really, pigeonholed me. All the dumb people sat at the back of the class. Yeah, that's where I sat, and the teacher pointed it out. So this is another way that everything was drilled into me. So I had to really, really take a sledgehammer to all those thoughts. Also, I sought help whenever I needed it. I never did that. I've got this figured out. I'm strong. A typical thing here is being in hospital. Wow, that just brought out my vulnerability. I had to break down all those layers, even more so. I acknowledged that I couldn't do everything alone. Yeah. Oh, I can fix that, no problem. You can't do it all alone. Even through all this for the last, since September, and doing some very deep work with a trauma therapist, but that's what I do. But I can't get to those places within me. So I knew I had to reach out. I wasn't going to sit there anymore and say, well, I can figure this out. The only way I can help people is if I help myself. I became mindful of how I spoke to others and softened my tone. Boy, I was really harsh. Even to the point that I think it was the beginning of the Pocket Project when we had a triad, and someone pointed out that, Christine, you need to soften your voice. And I was so unaware of it. So it's just becoming aware. I embraced a more playful attitude. Even in hospital, people said, considering what you're going through, you really do have fun way of looking at things. I said, what other way is there? Because if I sat in that area of woe is me and I'm the victim, I wouldn't be sitting here today. Clearly, I would not be here today. I stopped pretending that I had all the answers. Because I don't. And it's a big relief knowing that I don't. And I stopped pretending that I was okay. And that was, to me, huge, that I was not okay. So maybe some of those might help you. Maybe you can add other thoughts to the list. It's there to support you. Do you ever ponder how different your life might be if you allowed yourself to embrace vulnerability? To embrace it fully. What I discovered, being sensitive is okay and divine. My whole being merged with the newfound, softer inner strength. I began to stand up for my wise innocence. I spoke my truth from love. I truly honored myself for the courage and the strength it took me to arrive in this place. My heart expanded and keeps expanding. I discovered and embraced a deeper love and respect for myself, and finally feeling liberated to being me. I think the biggest one, though, was having the deeper love and respect for myself. Because that's something I did not have. And I think that has been my quest. When I was married in the 90s and I got divorced, and I was in real estate, I was at the top of my field, and I left real estate. I just quit because I didn't know what love meant. In real estate, I was making really good money, acknowledged by everyone. But I didn't know what love was. Couldn't buy it. Tried. Relationship upon relationship, they didn't work. So I just went on this quest and said, what the hell does love mean? I didn't realize it would end up in being in me. And the funny thing about love is that it's like everything in our life. There's so many layers to it. You get to that point in yourself and you go, oh, I feel so good. But you're only halfway there. It's just, it really is an incredible journey of the self-discovery that we're on. It really is about love, and that's it. Underneath it all, it's like Thomas Hubel said, underneath every challenge is love. Find the challenge and love it. When I was in the hospital, I was pushing my lungs away. I was trying to say, here, fix my lungs. And then hearing that voice in my head saying, find the love. Love your lungs, love your body, love every inch of you. And that's the deeper love, and that's the deeper respect. So no matter where you go, no matter what you run into, every challenge is woven in love. It's not there to torment you. It's there to light up the path that you walk. So a little reflection. Knowing everything that you're hearing now, and maybe you are embracing all your vulnerability, or maybe you're not. But just to hold it in your heart, what you've heard so far. And it's like sitting in your heart and calling forth all those long lost orphans within you and asking them to come forward, all those parts of me that feel vulnerable. Let's feel vulnerable together. And as you do this, just imagine them all coming together. All of them. All those parts of you. All embraced by you, by your love. One of the prayers that I used a lot through all my stuff, every time, even to this day, I still use it. Ho'opono. It's a very ancient Hawaiian prayer. And it's very simple. I am sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. So this is what I would say when I would feel something, like in the hospital, for example. Fear would come up. And I put my hand on my heart and I would say, I'm so sorry, fear. I'm so sorry that you have been sitting there in the dark. And please forgive me because I did not know you were there. I did not realize that I was pushing you away and ignoring you. And I want to thank you for your courage. I want to thank you for being persistent and always showing up in me, showing me where I need to go to heal, what I need to heal. So thank you. Thank you for your courage and your strength. And I love you. I love your strength. I love your courage. I love your wisdom. And I respect the path that you have walked and continue to walk. And then I would just breathe into my hand and breathe into my heart and breathe into that part of me that just popped into my head, whether it was fear or sadness or anxiety. And then I would just feel it dissipate. It was like waving to me as it left. So it's a very powerful process, Ho'opono. So what's different for you now? What do you notice that feels different within you? Okay. So if you just put your hand on your heart, take a deep breath. And just imagine yourself sitting in a room with all those vulnerable parts of yourself. And they're all sitting there. And they're all seeing you for the first time. They didn't know who you are. They are the ones that feel that they are in charge. But you need to let them know who you are. So say your name and the year. I am. And this is 2026. I am your older version, and I have made it this far. Because of your courage and your strength, I have made it this far. And I am so sorry that you have been sitting there on your own, trying to figure out this world. And please forgive me. I didn't know how to reach you. I didn't know what I needed to do. But I want to thank you. I want to thank you for your courage and your strength. And you were so wise back then. So wise because you made an intelligent choice to protect yourself, protecting me. But now I'm going to take over. Because I am you, the older version of you. And I just want you to know that I love you very much. And because of you, I am here. Because of your strength and courage, I am here now. And I respect the choices you made and the path you walked. So thank you. And now just sit with that for a couple of minutes. Imagine filling that entire room up with your love. Filling up all the hearts of all those beautiful parts of yourself. And just imagine embracing them all and telling them, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you all. So take a deep breath in and breathe through your heart, sending love out to every part of you. Breathe in again, sending love to all those parts of you. And thank yourself for being so brave and courageous. Thank you all for being incredibly beautiful.